that point the Doors started to do some more what they wanted as opposed to what was sort of expected of them.
With the Strange Days album, I believe this was the first album that Jim Morrison actually broke out in poetry, rap. He was very sincere about that. It's just like the music stopped and they decided, let this man say his words.
Probably the coolest thing about Strange Days, for me, as a fan of the Doors, was that it featured When the Music's Over. A tour de force, a great finale for a record. It was to that album perhaps what the end was to the Doors' debut.
It was on the B-side of Strange Days, and it was the last song, another very long song. The story about how that title for that song came along was when they were playing at the London Fog, I guess they would get into some sort of debates with the management about playing late or causing fights with people, bar patrons and this kind of stuff. And apparently the owner of the bar would say to the bouncers, you know, when the Doors had finished playing, when the music's over, turn on the lights, right? Just to get everyone out of the bar. And I guess Morrison thought that was kind of funny, or thought, hey, I can use that in a song. And so that's where the title of that song came from.
Turn out the light, turn out the light, turn out the light.
There's a big part where Jim screams, and he didn't let out a big scream, but you could feel him holding it in, and it was interesting to me. I like it because it was, you know, contained, explosive.
Tied her with fences and dragged her down. They ripped her and bit her and stuck her with knives in the side of the dawn. This is Jim talking to you as a Native American.
When the Music's Over is actually compared to The End, which was the last song on the first album. Again, another epic track. Not as long as The End, just over 11 minutes long. The End was 11 and a half minutes. Ray Manzarek really showing his skills as playing the bass line on his keyboards. A song, you can only say that it was so full of passion and also very intense.
A fantastic Doors song, one of the best ever, in my opinion. I think what made When the Music's Over such a great song and a hallmark for the band. It's an 11-minute song, which is not out of the ordinary for the Doors, but it started what would be a long line of great album closing songs. It was one of those where they might take a few more chances in those songs, and I think, you know, for the time, and there was a lot of race riots and protest music, this is a great protest song because, as everyone knows, in it Jim Morrison screams, "We want the world and we want it now." You know, dealing with political issues was nothing new for the Doors, but I think this is one of the best examples of how they did it with a great song and a great message.
March 1938. Hitler invades Austria. The Third Reich begins to flex its military muscle. Later that year, German scientists discover fission of the uranium nucleus, bringing the Third Reich one step closer to discovering the secret of the atomic bomb. Fear of German research stimulated activity in the United States and England. Fear that German scientists could produce weapons of great devastation. In the fall of 1939, Dr. Albert Einstein wrote his now famous letter to President Roosevelt, explaining the urgency of work on uranium fission. Roosevelt, a man of action, moved swiftly. An advisory committee on uranium was appointed. German forces invade Poland, plunging the nations of Europe into a Second World War. A new branch of the Army's Corps of Engineers was established to administer work on military uses of uranium. The first atomic bomb was assembled at Los Alamos, a secret laboratory in New Mexico. When Dr. J.R. Oppenheimer arrived to take charge, he began to surround himself with a galaxy of outstanding scientific stars. From Los Alamos came the bomb design and treatment of many theoretical problems. Yet many questions still remain unanswered. What are the secrets of this new source of power and destruction? Knowledge and information on all aspects of this new weapon are essential and can only be discovered by further testing.
when the music's over. When the music's over here. When the music's over, turn up the lights, turn up the lights, turn up the lights. Yeah, yeah. When the music's over, when the music's over, when the music's over, turn up the lights, turn up the lights, turn up the lights. Well, the music is your special friend. Dance on fires, it intends. Music is your only friend. Until the end, until the end, until the cancel my subscription to the resurrection. Send my credentials to the house of detention. I got some friends inside. The face in the mirror won't stop. The girl in the window won't drop. A beast of friends, alive she cried, waiting for me outside. Before I sing into the big sleep, I want to hear, I want to hear the scream of the butterfly. Come back, baby, back into my arms. We're getting tired of hanging around. Waiting around with our heads to the ground. I hear a very gentle sound. Very near yet very far, very soft yet very clear. Come today, come today. What have they done to the earth? What have they done to our fair sister? Ravaged and plundered and ripped her and bit her. Stuck her with knives in the side of the dawn and tied her with fences and dragged her down. I hear a very gentle sound. With your ear down to the ground. We want the world and we want it. We want the world and we want it. Now. Now. So when the music's over, when the music's over, yeah. When the music's over, turn up the lights, turn up the lights, turn up the lights. What the music is your special friend. Dance on fires, Indian turns. Music is your only friend. Till the end, until the end, until the end. Okay, let's do one more.
Looking back now, do you think that our country's use of the bomb was necessary?
The war had started in '39. It had seen the death of tens of millions. It had seen brutality and degradation which had no place in the middle of the 20th century. And the ending of the war by this means, certainly cruel, was not undertaken lightly. But I am not, as of today, confident that a better course was then open. I have not a very good answer to this question.
Dr. Oppenheimer, nevertheless, with all the rationalization, with all the inevitability of the decision that history demonstrates to us, you and many like you who brought the bomb into being still seem to suffer, may I say, from a bad conscience about it. Is that true, sir?
Well, I don't want to speak for others because we're all different. I think when you play a meaningful part in bringing about the death of over 100,000 people and the injury of a comparable number, you naturally don't think of that as with ease. I believe we had a great cause to do this, but I do not think that our consciences should be entirely easy at stepping out of the part of studying nature, learning the truth about it, to change the course of human history.
Dr. Oppenheimer, from all that you have said, it seems that when you contemplate the future, it is more with hope than with pessimism.
Well,
Or is that an oversimplification that's
yes,
hard
I've tried to talk about the hopeful things. The unhopeful ones jump to everyone's mind. Will the Chinese change their views of human destiny and of the relations between them and us before or after they have the power to make major nuclear war? It's anybody's guess. Will the détente between the Russians and the West survive the strains of this time? Will they survive what's going on in Asia today? We don't know. There are 100 reasons for seeing no hope at all, and I take it for granted that everybody can think of them without being reminded.